I was told that Mr. Lilly has water in his garage, and I come to every meeting and I never heard of a hookup fee. Is that true?
Who has water in his garage?
Mr. Lilly,
Really?
that's what I mean.
Water in his garage.
Is there a tap fee?
I don't believe so.
Is there a meter?
It's metered. Was it heavy rains where it run under the?
No, city water.
Oh, city water.
Is it metered?
I believe so.
Do you know for sure?
I can check. He's always been, when it was questioned before, he told me anytime I wanted to, I can go in and look if anybody wants to
Does
see
he
it.
pay a readiness to serve charge?
Yeah, just like
Okay.
everybody else.
Why is there not a hookup fee?
He's had it since before I was there.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't under
Well,
my-
we'll see if there's a hookup fee.
So, I believe it runs from your house to the garage, right?
Yeah, that was approved by Jack McCluskey on the board when they were in there.
No. That garage has not been there that long. No.
That garage has been there since 1980.
No, it hasn't. Listen, go down there and turn the
How
water
long has it
on
been there, Jim?
and see if the meter runs in the house.
How old were you?
See if the meter runs in the house.
No,
That's a separate business. It wasn't a separate business at that time.
Why don't you put that in writing and,
Yeah, I
So,
will.
submit it to us,
the
please?
thing is, now it'll open up a can of worms. We
Mhm.
have a lot of other places that are that way.
Not separate.
Yeah.
Well, then that shouldn't be that way. Then I'm gonna go from my house to my next house and hook up the water line. And I'll run the
Separate
meter
houses,
through my
separate
house.
addresses.
A business is a separate address.
Well, I guess as far as it goes for me, I'll look and confirm.
I'm just saying, if one can do it, we all can do it. Is it all right? I can hook from one house to the other, go down my garage and hook.
No, you can't.
Well, what's that? What is that?
My cousin's house is on property owned by, two people that will both joint owned, and my uncle's property, or my uncle's house is on that same joint chunk of land. You can't hook both houses up when we have one meter.
Well, how can you hook the business up in the house?
Best I'll do, I'll confirm that the water's running through the meter, and it's up to the board to decide what to do after that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Walker, nothing from me, Mrs. Walker.
The only thing, I was going to mention was what I did, the same thing I mentioned a month ago, in regards to, who they choose, who the supervisors choose to sit on the water board. Unfortunately, Rick had another meeting, so I wasn't able to really bring any, I brought things up, but you were the only supervisor that was here.
When you had that Friday on the 10th, I had to leave early.
And you had to leave early. So, I just had a few concerns about that, but since you weren't here, maybe I'll, refresh everybody's minds and kind of fill you in on what I was thinking at the time. I know Jeremy had nominated Stacy. And I just had questioned, a few things. When Stacy quit not long before that, he quit without even a 2-week notice. That I didn't think was really appropriate. I know he's gone for unemployment 3 times and been turned down since then. Now, I know they don't sue you for unemployment. Is he going after the township for unemployment, going after the water authority for unemployment? Who do they go?
He's
That
after,
would be
it's
the authority.
yeah, it's after us.
Yeah.
So it's after the water authority. That was something I had a question about. But I know that he said that it's been said that he felt that he worked in a hostile work environment, and that's why he quit working for the water authority. And so I question why he wants to even sit on the water authority if that was such a hostile environment for him. I feel like it's going to, cause more trouble down the road. And I can't help but wonder if, I wouldn't, under the circumstances, I don't know why he would even be considered, unless there was an ulterior motive, and I'm not saying about you, but I've heard that, it's been mentioned about combining the water and sewage, or selling the water authority was another thing I heard, and I was wondering, if you know anything about that, or I'm intending to go to the next supervisor's meeting, but just in case I don't go, I was curious if you knew anything about that.
As far as, selling, it's nothing, but I know the supervisors, even before Guy come on board with Victor, and when we met in the fall with both boards as supervisors, said, we gotta work together. I mean, we can't have this fighting back and forth. We gotta forget the vendettas in the past and everything. I mean, to better the whole community.
Absolutely.
If it takes to put one board to do, one authority to do both water and sewage, you might come to that. But I mean, it's up to each board to start.
They're gonna have to really.
You're gonna have your differences, yes, just like supervisors have their own opinions on issues.
Yeah, they're gonna have to really discuss that, just like making the decision about, who is to sit on the water authority. I think the other people that were running, should have had a right to state why they felt they were qualified.
See,
So,
that was brought up too, but when I read down through, and I don't, okay, say, we just said Mr. Birdie, he's on, then like I said, say if it went to Jim and Stacy down, so what do you do when you have three people tied? And, you know, usually ever since I got on board, it was always brought up, once you've got two motions to accept somebody, they're on the board.
Yeah, but also the Municipal Authorities Act, it states you need pretty good reasons that upset
Yeah.
the member that's on the board, why change?
But I think, like I said, I wanna get dragged out, you know, if it's pertaining, I think, we want to come to the supervisors meeting and, you know, bring up the issue. Because as far as I know, a couple days ago, there's nobody else inquired other than the same names that put in, which you have 10 days prior, by the 10th, you have to have your name, anybody else.
yeah, I think it would just
But
be,
it's, personally, if there's issues going on with this water board, I said, why do you wanna throw another log on the fire? I mean, everybody has their opinions, who wants who on there, but there's a lot of things, these vendettas in the past, you know. I don't
absolutely.
like Lily, and so I'm gonna have us going in here all the time, issues, and just saying, you know, it don't end, it keeps going on and on.
Yeah.
Which we gotta start, you know, the best, whoever we think would be the best to be on there, and same with the sewage board or whatever, where they work together with another individual, with the water, with, you know, but everybody's gonna have their differences, nobody's gonna be 100% on everything.
They do need a chance, though, to represent themselves, why they feel they might be best for
Now-
themselves, or to sit on the board.
I believe this board right here sent a recommendation to the township supervisors, who they felt was their best choice.
Yep.
Was that letter read was that brought up before the vote?
Actually, that was in the meeting, you know, with the speech, I still have my copy of it. And you know, the other two supervisors looked at it and read it, but like I said, I keep every document that comes into my hands. The other two were aware of it.
But it wasn't put on the shelf for public record.
No.
It is a public record.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah,
public
but
record.
what do you mean on
It
the
should've
shelf?
Well, it
Well-
wants to do correspondence.
Right, for the public to see.
Well, if you wanna see it, you gotta come down.
Yeah, you can see it, you know, I got my copy, my old stuff, it's in recorded.
I think he's referencing something that I plan on bringing up at the township meeting, we'll cover that then.
I agree, it should have been listed under, if it was addressed to the supervisors,
But
it
it
should
was,
have been under correspondence.
see, a lot of this too, when something's brought in, handed in, compared to something that's mailed in too, on the correspondence, because, you know, anybody can come and just throw something on it.
When I write a letter, I bring it down here, I don't mail a letter, it always goes on correspondence. It should have been there. If it was submitted as an official document, it should have been
you, Brooke, yeah.
Did you get what you wanted to hear, didn't you?
Yeah.
I just, since he wasn't able, I know this doesn't involve a decision just by you, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, I'm glad you're here. I just knew that the other supervisors not being here, these were questions they couldn't really answer, because they're, they're the water board, so. No, these people here, they're not questions they can really answer, so. Okay, that's all.
Okay, gentleman back there? No question?
No, I'm good, man, for now.
Okay. Christine?
Under the bills, number 39, Mr. DiVittorio is an attorney, and I think we should put, Esquire after his name. And that way the people who review these bills know he is the attorney. And I think it would be good to show what the payment is for. And then under your minutes, which you are about to approve, under visitors' comments, the third item down, with all due respect, that's as clear as mud. So I think you should clarify that, whatever it is, before you approve your minutes. That's all. Thank you.
Christine, which one did you say that was?
It's under the regular, January 10th meeting, it's under visitors' comments. There was a lengthy discussion on what happened on and leading up to September 24th, 2019, and what happened at the last supervisors meeting. So if somebody's coming in here reading that, wouldn't have a clue what that means.
A lengthy discussion on what?
It was like a 45-minute discussion, though,
Well,
I
you
get-
still can,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Summarize it in a sentence better than
yeah,
that.
yeah, because we can't go and do a transcript, but
It's the subject matter and just a brief description.
Got it, Christine?
That's all, thank you.
Mern? Good.
Jim, just a couple of quick things. I see the old business. Is the Houston Township all done and settled? It's all done, taken care of? Another thing, with Jeff Friday's up near my house, his boy has the big building and he has the storage units. I think for the best interest would help the fire company too, the line that runs down on Elm Street. If we could do extension down to 255, in case something would happen at that particular place. So I don't know if you can look at some grant or something, because if we have to lay a line from Elm and down the side alley and that, we're better off getting something close, actually on each side of his property.
Where's the nearest hydrant at, Rick?
By Harry Smith's, well, yeah, right here by my son lived in the old homestead. There's one there, and the next one is down by Timmy Senior's, past Timmy's.
Okay.
But I mean, it's something I think they should look at, where you can extend, say right down by Gold Threads.
It sounds like you need some, foam agent of some type also.
Well, we have foam, but it's just the idea, if you had to lay from Elm down into close to the structure, we'd rather have access right on the main highway, Something I think should look forward, or in the future of.
Does he have anything on his actual business?
No.
Nothing?
No hydrants on that side.
No, I mean, for
The
his-
one on my in-laws next to my driveway, that's
Right.
an old 2-inch line, and there's nothing else on 255, everything runs on Elm on that 6-inch line.
We'll look into that, Rick.
Yeah, I mean-
The nearest one would be Harry Smith's residence.
That's it, right now, that's part of where we'd access, or Penfield, if they'd come, they'd probably hit Timmy's and come down the lane there,
Right.
so. One more thing, I did attend your meeting on, I think it was the 10th, I left early. I did see through social media where the township was in, a lot of words about the township workers. I feel personally as a supervisor, if there's an issue, I think it should be brought to the township meeting, to all 3 supervisors. I don't think it should have been discussed from what I heard and seen on Facebook.
Don't ask me,
I mean, I'm just,
Well, I seen it too, I don't
Yeah.
think that's a good thing
no,
to do.
if there's an issue with the township, I think it should come to the township meeting and be brought up, not discussed by another board, sewage or
What if a guy can't make it to a township meeting?
Thursday night,
Where's he at?
same as the water
A
meetings.
lot of times in the summertime, I can't get to a township meeting.
I'm just saying, I'm not, you know, I've seen a video and
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that too, Rick. We have a few of them running around
That's the
town
ones I seen.
that like to do that social
Yeah.
media thing, but they don't have the gumption to come to the meeting and express their views
yeah,
because their tails are too short on them.
that's all I have, thanks.
Okay, Bob,
I guess the only question I have, are you gonna summarize, the correspondence? I see you got a letter from Stacy Snyder. You can do that when you get the correspondence, but I'm just curious.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
It can be read.
yeah. Okay. That it, Bob?
Yep, that's it.
Alright. Okay, approval of the agenda. Need a motion.
Make a motion.
We could add something.
Okay.
Or did we cover it? Did we cover it? I thought there was something we made a note about. I thought there was something we made a note to add, but, okay. That'd be really
Business.
Okay, so we'll make a motion, to add to new business before we approve the agenda, number 4, the new business have on fee.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't understand, what was that?
Adding to new business number 4, tap on fee.
Back on. Thank you.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second the motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, all in favor?
Alright,
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, approval of the minutes. Reorganizational meeting, January 10th, 2020, and regular meeting, January 10th, 2020.
So Christine's question was, you wanted the description of what happened on, there was a lengthy discussion on what happened on and leading to September 24th, 2019, and what happened at the last supervisors meeting.
So basically just elaborating on not being so vague, being a little bit more clear.
Okay,
what line was that?
it's on
Fourth line under visitors' comments.
visitor comments.
Or do you want me to,
We need to add that the subject of the discussion was leading up to September 24th. There was some discussions of issues at the plant. And, well,
And the resignation of 2 employees.
issues at plant and resignation of
Line 6, yeah, I see that, yeah.
And then as far as the township supervisors meeting,
appointment to the board?
yep, appointment,
that would be, that we sent a letter to the supervisors, requesting that we want appointed to the board.
What line was that, yeah?
The same question.
Okay, then, Kristen?
I think so. Was there, you have another one, Christine?
No, that's all, I think that's a good clarification.
Thank you.
So then I need a motion.
You don't have to, if you weren't involved with this thing, you can, like as far as that goes.
No, we just make a motion to.
All right, make a motion to approve the minutes with all the corrections.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes with the correction to the suggestion of Christine.
All right, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, treasurer's report.
The balance in the checking account as of 12/31/2019 was $94,107.56. Total deposits were $63,497.12. The balance in the checking account as of 1/31/2020 was $66,326.37. In the savings, we have $170,622.14 at the end of December. And at the end of January, we have $225,756.21.
That's a pretty healthy balance there, I have to say, compared to the other entities in the township.
Okay,
I
approval
think
of the
water
bills.
system's doing good.
Approval of the bills.
The accounts payable was $91,278.31. Of that, $55,000 was transferred to savings.
Christine asked about number 32. That was reimbursement to me for picking up the supplies for the theater, right?
Yeah.
Question. Number 33.
Postage.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
The company is NeoPost.
Okay.
Zero funds, no, that's what they call
Never heard.
it. Yeah.
High tech.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a,
I'll make the motion to approve the bills.
I'll second the motion.
okay, all in favor?
I'm abstaining due to my payroll.
Motion carried. Okay, correspondence. Letter from Stacy Smith. Dear Mrs. Brown, I requested a copy of the most recent certified letter to Mrs. Quinn. You did not provide the letter to me, so you sent me the State Ethics Commission statement, financial interest one. I am returning the form to you. This does not close my record request.
Yes, it does. That's what I sent her. And she did not pick it up. And I also have the letter here that came back to me. And if somebody would like to open it up, feel free.
Let's pick a member of the audience.
Rick, would you like to come to it?
I have a sharp knife, you need one.
Am I allowed to do it? Yeah, I don't see why not.
He's saying that that's not what I sent her. That is definitely what I sent her.
We'll see what's in the envelope.
State Ethics form.
It was
Is
sent
there
to
any cover? No cover letter?
No, it was just sent to her because everybody that has a state ethics form, if you were in office previous year, you have to fill one out. I wanted to make sure she got it so that I would stay out of trouble, you know, so that she would make sure she got it. But that's what it was.
Don't lose it.
There's nothing in between the pages.
I know, but I wanted to make sure, in case she ever come back to me and said I did not send her one. Here's proof I did.
Make sure you keep it on file.
Yes, I will, with this letter.
So the letter was from Stacy, but you're saying.
No.
He was asking what was in her.
Yeah,
letter.
he sent me a letter, right to no request. I answered the right to no request. He is saying I did not answer and he didn't think that's document, did not close his record request, but that's what it was in there. We got it back the day that I got this letter.
The record request is now closed.
There you go.
Delinquencies.
There is none because the bills are out.
Maintenance report.
January 2020, 66,394 miles on the truck, responded to 611 calls, checked the facilities and the buildings, removed the water hose roll from the wall, the air hose was connected to it, wrapped around it, two different things, they don't work that way. So, we purchased a ratcheting air hose roll, that makes things a lot easier now, so we hooked that up. Vacuum mopped the office and bathroom floors, plowed snow, went to look at a dump truck at Murray at Ford and DuBois. There's a leak reported on Hickory Avenue, dug and repaired the leak, installed new Force and meters, attempted to figure out which valve shut off the Force Hotel and Triple Nickel Distillery. Haven't really found anything out definitive there yet. Installed OSB sheeting in the corner where the new heater goes at the well. Installed new panel switch, wired new wire to the switch. Looked into reported customer leak at a meter. They left open a winterized drain valve and it was just running. Went to DuBois, Harbor Freight, and Lowe's for heater install supplies and tools to get that job done. Okay, operations report. Distribution flow was about 6.8 million gallons. Water produced was also about 6.8 million gallons. We were pretty close. Most of that was from the surface plant at 6.7 million, and I used 22,841 gallons from the well. Completed and submitted all DEP required reports for December. Completed daily lab, bacteria samples to the lab, regulatory samples picked up. Backwashed the filters, backflushed the manifolds as needed. Logged my data into Excel. Read meters, downloaded readings, and printed bills. Had an issue with no flow readout from filter train 1. I manually opened the valves, closed valves, etc. No flow from filter 1 confirmed. It was not the flow meter, there was actually no flow. So I ran filter trains 2 to 4 until I did more troubleshooting. The next day I troubleshot the filter, took the pneumatic motors out, inspected them, everything seemed okay. Opening fittings to see where the water stops. There was no flow beyond the clay valve. Basically, the clay valve limits the output of the plant, so it doesn't damage the filters. Opened fittings at the top of the clay valve, flushed it out, put it back together, and then I had flow from filter 1. So we had discussed having well management come up to look at some other things, so I made the call to well management to get the clay valve serviced, as well as to check calibration of the interconnect meter and the inspection of the RPZ valve at the pump building. That was recommended by DEP. Anyway, trained Justin for daily routine and weekend operations. Went over force map specs with Brian Blue. Jim Frederick from Laurel Management came in, checked the clay valves, the interconnect, the RPZ. He's coming back with more parts and equipment. Issue on the well road. There was a truck turned over. We inspected the area, investigated, made sure nothing was tampered with as far as the tank, the well, everything was okay. Hickory Avenue leak, we shut off the service corp. There was no boil notice necessary to make that repair. The new line locator was delivered, and I marked gallon graduations on the new day tanks, put the new chlorine impacts day tanks in, and filled them. And that's it.
What was the truck turned over?
It was an older Chevy, red Chevy, on the old Burndale Road. They almost went down over the bank. They would have had a heck of a ride.
No.
Still got stuck on the trees and stuff going on.
Alrighty, old business. CDBG grant.
Okay, so we've been, myself and Patrick have been in discussions with Tracy Gerber. We're still awaiting 3 right-of-ways. We've been having issues getting a hold of people. We're gonna leave letters at their door, hopefully they'll give us a call back. They should. We've been using the extra time to kind of make the drawings a little bit more accurate. I've gone out with Patrick and kind of looked over some question areas that we've had. That way, instead of when we have shovel in the ground trying to figure it out, we're trying to get everything figured out now. And I think the new line locator will definitely help. As far as our end, everything's ready as soon as the right of ways. We can bid out as soon as possible. I know in discussions we've looked at February 18th as the goal to get all the right of ways in. I think that's definitely doable.
So hopefully, as long as that happens, get everything recorded the following week, we can probably have everything, we will have everything ready to bid right away, dependent for the supervisor, or the county commissioner's first meeting in March.
Industrial appraisal?
In your packets, I contacted an industrial appraisal company to do an industrial appraisal on our assets. And they came back with a price of $3,170. That is the first time deal for the first year. Then they will take care of every updates and everything, $250 per year for 3 years. We're locked into that price,
For how many years?
3 years,
3.
after this year, once we do it.
And I think I asked you, you said even after that 3 years, if we continue to keep a contract with them or have them do it, it would just be somewhere around
Yes.
250.
Yes, it won't go with 3,000.
And
3,000's a one-time deal,
Basically, that will,
250 is per year.
yes. This here is, gives you an actual value of what all our equipment is, all our buildings and everything we own, so we can insure right in case something does happen.
if we're underinsured, when we're properly insured, if we're overinsured,
Insured.
we can save money on insurance that way.
You talk to the insurance agent. Do we
The
have-
insurance agent knows that he thought it was a good idea that we do it, they don't discourage it at all, so.
Good.
I need
A motion?
yes.
Okay. Need a motion to accept industrial appraisal?
I'll make the motion.
What was your company's name?
Industrial appraisal company,
Industrial
Yeah.
Appraisal Company, just like that.
yes, they are out of, Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh.
PA, and that's what they recommended, so.
Not unless you guys wanna check other places before we.
This is the one that everybody deals with, and I know in the area, there's several, municipalities that deal with industrial appraisal.
I'm content with it.
I'll second your motion, Joe.
Alright,
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
I'll stay, Brian will probably have to fill in a little bit. So far, my drums are there, the permit application has been submitted, we're just waiting for a final word from DEP, and then we'll be,
Yeah, I reached out to DEP in the beginning of this week or last week, just to touch base with them, see if they needed anything else from us. They said the permit application was complete, everything was there that they needed. It goes through kind of 2 level checks, it's passed the first one, so it's now up to the higher ups at DEP, Brad Vanderhoof and Brad Schote. So that was January 25th that it got up to those guys, so we should hear some kind of word probably within the next week or 2. And normally if they have any questions, it doesn't make it out of the first round, so I think we should be on the safe
so
side.
we'll be cleared within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned to me that as we switch over, there could be discolored water. So
Yes, yeah, that's one thing we're probably gonna be looking at, we'll probably let the consumers know that they may see some discoloration. Normally when you switch from one phosphate to the other, it'll kind of strip off the protective liner on the existing pipes. It's not harmful, we don't need any kind of boil water, it's just, it's gonna make the water tinted a little bit.
yeah, we'll put out a notice for that.
And again, we talked about flushing the system whenever we do that, and kind of trying to mix the phosphates to minimize that effect as much as possible.
How long do you think the water will be discolored?
At
Several days or?
the most, I think if we are seeing discoloration and we flush it, 2-3 days at the most.
that would also strip the mainline pipes plus the interior pipes of dwellings.
Correct, yes.
So if you have copper, it'd be a different color compared to plastic.
You're probably gonna get the same color no matter where, you really won't notice a difference too much. Like I said, hopefully, we're gonna try slowly incorporating it in, and hopefully that'll eliminate any kind of discoloration.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. PA small water and sewer grant. There you go, Rick. Get that fire hydrant. Go ahead.
Still waiting on any kind of word regarding that. I think last thing we heard was they should be announcing it sometime middle of April.
Oh, okay. Define trespass.
Do we need to discuss anything there? I don't think so.
We just won't allow it to happen. That's why they thought it was fine.
I think we covered that.
Okay, nothing this time. Approval of part-time help for 1 month.
I made a suggestion that we have so many old records in our plan and at the office that I just don't have the time to sit there all and go through them and look them down for the plan and everything, and these guys have been busy in the plan. I'd like to hire William back for 1 month to help me get all that taken care of, so we can get rid of old records that don't need to be there no more.
There's a lot.
No, there's a lot.
But she will be there.
Yeah, I will be there. He will only work when I am there to supervise and help it. He'll help me take them down and we'll go through them.
Sharon, is that a private firm, or who is it not again?
No, it's just
He was our
it's
summer
our
help.
summer help last year.
Oh, okay, that's same township.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay.
It's just a private, just for a couple hours a day. I work 4 hours a day. He will come in, we'll just do certain things like go up in the attic and bring them down and go through them because there's old records up there we don't need to keep.
That's what we did 2 years with the township, all the records we had.
Yeah. It needs to be done. And we'll take them to the shredding place in Broadway, but we have to have a resolution saying what we are destroying before we can destroy them.
So 8 to noon, Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to get, to approve William Upperman on payroll for a month from 8 to noon, Monday to Thursday, to help Sharon, file records.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? All opposed?
He made $10.35 in last summer, so we'll probably keep it the same rate.
Yep, I think so.
Is that okay with the board?
It is.
Shall we make a motion to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll revise it, okay. I'll make a motion to hire our summer intern, William Upperman, back for a month from 8 to noon, Monday to Thursday, at $10.35 per hour to help Sharon, for files.
I'll still second that motion. All in favor? All opposed? Padlocks and rekeying the water pump.
Okay, I contacted Harbor Specialties and Odell's Lock and Key. Kind of what it's coming down to now, so there are 7 doors at the office with our facilities, so at the plant, Skylertown building, the well. Odell's wants $590 to change the cylinders, put a restricted keyway in and rekey. Hardware Specialties for the same thing wants $689. So Odell's is cheaper than Hardware Specialties, but when we factor in padlocks, each padlock through Odell's is $115, each padlock through Hardware Specialties is $89. So that's where things flip back around.
I think we can look for another place for padlocks too, besides just these two.
My big thing is the restricted keyways though too, so yeah, I can look up some,
Right,
another,
we can get it below 89, I believe so.
My only thing is,
What, Joe?
For the padlocks.
Oh.
Yeah.
they're a special padlock and then they have to rekey it with the special,
So they all use the
cylinder,
same.
and then they all use the same key. So if we would, keep them all the same, you wanna stay with one company, but at worst, you can key all the doors the same and do all the padlocks different.
That's what.
But I'd at least like to get the doors done and really a set of padlocks to do the gates, because we just have no clue who has keys.
Well, we've discussed
You
this
can buy it.
enough, it needs to be done.
Yeah. We need to pick
Yeah, we kind of,
right now.
I mean, if we do just the doors, it's under my spending threshold, I really don't need approval approval, but if we do the gates, I would need 5 more padlocks. So if we do that in addition, that puts me over 1,000. So, do we,
Just do the doors right now and we'll
we could
move
do
on
that.
to the next
I
later.
mean, the big part is nobody getting in the plant, but we should keep them out of the fence too. It's like, I don't know, we can table that, I guess, if we want,
No,
so. So if we look in the long run with buying doors and keyways, or doors and the padlocks, hardware specialties would be cheaper.
Patrick, it's not a bad idea to keep those two separate. That way, in case you do happen to lose one of the plant keys, and you would have to replace those,
You're not rekeying
replacing every single one of them.
Okay. So then I guess we'll just do cheaper both ways. So we'll do the doors with Odell's and then the padlocks with hardware specialties because they're cheaper.
There you go.
So,
That's how we shop at Walmart.
thanks, Brian. Good suggestion.
okay. Need to make a motion?
Yes.
Need to make a motion?
Okay, I'll make that motion to get the padlock rekeyed for the water plant.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Alright.
All opposed? Motion carried.
The other name of the other company, Odell's.
Odell's Lock and Key.
Yeah,
They're the same
hardware's
grades.
the best we get.
Hardware special.
For the padlock, I believe it was. Hardware's gonna do padlocks.
All right, automatic gate opener.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Okay. Nothing new on that yet. I called Kessler's out of DuBois. They're coming down next week sometime in the morning to check things out and give us quotes. So. Are there any other fencing companies you know in the area that I could?
Who did this one, Will?
Kessler.
Just call them.
The one at the plant was Red Rock, they're out of Pittsburgh. They'd have to travel up.
Used to be competitive, cause there used to be pen line over going to Asian on 28, but they're not there anymore.
We'll see what they come back with if we need to look into it more.
Oh, security cameras.
No update on those yet. We've been doing a lot of other stuff, so.
All right, okay, on to new business. Old meters.
Okay, old meters, we have the old meters from Force stored in the plant right now in boxes. A lot of people might have seen that online. We have a bunch up at Sharon's, building too, old meters that were removed. They are old leaded brass meters. They cannot be put back into homes. EPA rules. So, LB Water and I guess my suggestion too, Justin's suggestion is to disassemble them and scrap them. So, we'll need a motion to do that. The old SR2 brass body meters.
I'll make the motion to scrap them.
I'll second.
And after they're scrapped, we'll find the choice, the place where we wanna disperse them to, which would be a commercial, area.
Yeah, we'll call it, we can watch scrap prices and call around who has the best pricing. My only other suggestion is put the money back where it came from. So,
Back in the new meters again.
yeah,
Or MXUs,
both, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Dump truck.
Okay.
The motion.
We made a motion to scrap the meters.
Okay, all right.
How much do you think those meters are worth?
Dollar, was a dollar.
It's all.
Not a lot.
Pizza, we'll be able to get pizza.
Can't do pizza.
We can't do nothing. Don't end up costing us money.
When we prepared the budget, Justin had brought up a good point, about purchasing a dump truck, and I tend to agree with him. There needs to be a second vehicle, and I think it should have dumping capabilities. There's a lot of times we use it whenever we could use it when we're on leaks, or, if he's out in the truck, I'm left there with nothing. I have my personal vehicle, I've used it for work.
Yeah.
I'm not thrilled with how dirty it is inside, so, because of work, so, I think we need to get something else, and it was budgeted, so Justin had seen one in Murray's and DuBois, we went up to look at it. The one he saw has seen its fair share of work days, so,
And that's the one with the undesirable engine.
that's the 6 liter, yeah, 6 liter, hold on. Tape recorder. I should make you a charger.
I don't know. I'll take a class.
Okay,
Alright.
yeah, so it was a 6 liter F550, those engines are known for some pretty major problems. While we were there, they told us of another one that just came in, I should have printed a picture of it, I have it on my phone.
What year is that, Patrick, the new, isn't that the other one?
It's an '08, has 52,831 miles on it.
What was that?
This is the alternate truck back there.
He said,
That's it there.
Blue one with an aluminum bed on it, it looks like.
Yeah, has a plow, has a spreader.
Is that the diesel or the gas engine?
6.4 liter diesel,
Keith knows what.
XLT. So they're asking 16.5 for it. We've looked around, it seems to be pretty decent for what it is.
How many
Then,
miles are on that one?
52,831.
On the blue one?
And then today on Facebook, it popped up, a 2010 F350, steel bed, where are the miles at? I think it had 69,000 miles. Looks like a guy is retiring and doesn't use it anymore. No plow, no spreader, which is probably good, it hasn't seen much salt. 4-wheel drive, walk-in hubs, V10 gas, dump bed with electric hoist. So just some options we have. They want 22.5 for it. I think that's high. We budgeted for 20. Maybe discuss with him coming down on it.
Look at a picture of the blue one.
So,
Patrick said that as the V10.
yeah,
You might wanna stay away from that.
for that one. Is that the one the township has too?
That'd be
What about these
380,000 miles on it.
What about these 6.4s, Rick, how they working out?
Like,
Okay, okay.
biggest complaint, so we searched some stuff today, biggest complaint we saw was fuel economy, I guess. It didn't have as much of the problems as the 6.0s,
I like the shiny jet.
I don't know.
The thing
I don't
about
know
the
much.
the thing about the V10 speed, I mean, they were always blowing the spark plugs out of the head. I think Joe even had that problem with his, or previous owner had that problem.
What's that, Joe?
The spark plugs blow out of the head.
No, I never had that issue with mine.
But as they got newer, they changed that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but they,
I mean, hey, we looked at Chevys, I mean, we
no,
looked
no,
and
no,
looked and
the
looked.
V10s, they put 10 pistons in this bigger house.
Yeah.
You know,
They'll carry a load down the road though, too.
now I will tell you this, not that you're allowed to do it, but the 6.4s, if you delete them, they're tough.
Mhm.
Or, really?
Yeah, but
Well, but the thing about it, I mean, you gotta understand, this ain't something that's being run all over the country, I mean, it's,
well,
you know.
Around town.
Jim, I understand that too, but, Tony McGall bought one brand new, 31,000 miles, and it blew up, and Ford said, well, it's, commercial, but we don't warranty commercial,
Mhm.
so. And I've seen a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna talk more about the blue truck with the aluminum bed on it. We can table it right now.
What about a pickup truck with one of those, no?
Nah, I'm not shutting you down, no, they're just a piece of.
Either way, my stipulation is dumping capability.
Well, if they wanna run up, get some stone or get some sand or
Well,
whatever they can.
Somebody make a bed that you can do that on a pickup, they take the other bed off and you do.
The other thing, you gotta look at the hydraulics, because
Yeah.
those belt-driven clutches.
Yeah.
You can't, you're gonna load the tail of the truck all the
Your
time.
The
best,
6.4 at Murray's is it's not power over hydraulics, it is full hydraulics.
You know, what runs the hydraulics?
or takeoff, hopefully,
Yeah, I think a PTO.
off the transmission.
Just gotta make sure it ain't, just make sure it ain't electric.
Yeah, if it's a PTO, that's great,
That's what you
Yeah,
want.
I think it is.
but if,
Um,
if it's not,
Is there any way, some Friday you're home, we can, you've been around quick.
This guy here, I mean, where's he at?
He's in Clearfield, that's the B10 though.
Okay.
So it's no on the B10.
No, I'm gonna say no on the V10.
No, I'm just asking.
they're hard on gas,
They are, yeah.
about 3 miles a gallon.
Yeah,
I can get a hold of
The blue
him,
one.
see if he has any wiggle room. I mean, 25, I think he's too much, if he's not gonna budge.
no.
Well,
let's
yeah,
send it to him.
exactly,
It's
yeah.
Patrick, let's do a picture one.
I think the blue one would be the one to,
Study a little.
reprogram the blue one.
I'm gonna tell you, gotta take a ride over
Put
there.
it sugar on.
What was the price
Just
on
look
that?
loopy.
What was the price on that blue one?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're asking 16.5,
With Del Tot.
but their stipulation was that was their plowing truck for the winter, so they still wanted to use it, so.
Oh, they still only.
To me, that's a negotiation.
Just at the parking lot. though.
Yeah, at the Freightliner shop, so
They're not working on it.
I think that's a little room for negotiation.
What tires were on the blue one, 19 and a half, like this red one, this looks
That
like
I-
19
that I don't
and a half.
know. It's an XLT, I know they're aluminum, but.
But it's an F-550, right?
it's a-
Yeah, so it would have.
So we're gonna table this, or we're gonna?
We are, I think we should, yeah. We'll table it.
So we'll go look at it.
Yeah, to the
And
next,
then
table to the
we'll
next
come back.
meeting, then we'll make a decision.
Okay.
Okay, digging bid. We gotta do, put an ad in the paper, and he wants to possibly get on our list to be our, what, digger in case there's an emergency.
We have to advertise in the paper, yeah.
I thought we,
It slipped our minds at the beginning of the year, we forgot to do it, so.
oh, we didn't put it on, I thought we did.
Yeah, last year we did.
We did last year,
Gambino
but not-
bid?
We
not
didn't do
this
that
year.
this year. I thought we did.
Yeah, how about a motion to put an ad in the paper to, try to get some people that wanna,
Make a motion to put an ad in the paper for, a digging bid for water.
I will second the motion.
all in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, tap-on fee.
Our tap-on fee currently is $500. It's been that way for a long time. The last couple taps we have done, that $500 did not cover it. Brian, I think you mentioned 500 is pretty cheap.
And actually, I was just talking to somebody the other day, Pennsylvania actually has, an act that can kind of help you set that, I think it's Act 57. But it'll kind of give you a breakdown on how to calculate exactly what your tap fee should be. It looks at current debt, operating costs, a couple different variables. But it'll, at least that way you'll have justification instead of just pulling a number out of the air.
Right.
Thank you.
So we can discuss numbers, or like he said, we can run the calculator and see where we're at and decide then, or
Patrick, how much is Penfield, do you know? Are they the same?
I don't know. I can look into that.
This act tells you how you should calculate it.
Yeah.
What was that, Act
Then
57?
You should do
Yeah,
that,
I believe it is Act
people are gonna
57.
say, where'd you get that figure? And
Right.
then
Better off to do
show
Act
it.
57.
Especially with the scrutiny we've been having.
Mhm.
And that's, I mean, I know places anywhere from 1,500 to 7,500, so it's good to have some kind of justification.
Yeah, 7,500 is for a new Walmart.
Or Swiftly, somebody calls that.
Yeah, exactly, Cranberry Township.
So,
But where
Yeah,
we're-
let's table.
Where we're at now, especially, the township has discussed with, or brought up to us about paving, especially if we have to cut a road and pave, we're losing big time. We gotta at least break even.
I'll send you up, a couple forms we did for Forest Hill Municipal Authority. That way, again, if you guys want me to do it, I can. If you guys can, look over it and if you want to do it.
Do you have a written scope that's included in the tap on free?
I don't know if there currently is or not, I'll look.
I think you better get that, cause like somebody said here,
You wanna be
if
able
you
to
got
justify.
cut pavement or maybe a utility pole, utility lines in the road. I mean, I think you're gonna have basic charge, but then you're gonna have contingencies.
Right.
If this is out of the ordinary.
Another thing we're gonna do, Bob, in the future is looking into purchase some type of mold, so we don't have to tear the blacktop up. And there is machinery available to put the hole under the road without tearing the blacktop up.
Yeah, but if you're dealing with 6 line, that's probably.
There's different species of them critters.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
We'll do some shopping on it.
You better review your regulations and see how you have it worded, you might have to change it. What's in your regulations as far as tapping fees.
Will that be for different sizes too?
I-
Half inch, 3/4?
I don't think currently it's set up that way.
Is that something you guys should do with that Act 57?
Does it consider?
Probably wouldn't hurt, I mean, you're gonna have different costs between,
Yeah.
a factory comes in, you need a 4-inch line.
Yeah, if somebody wants a 2, somebody wants a 4, like Penfield with the 6.
Yeah.
We had to build a separate building for that interconnect, so.
That's why we brought it up, because we knew there was some issue, so.
Yep.
But it's their business.
So you're gonna check into the Act 57 thing and.
If you wanna send that up so we
Oh,
can
yeah.
look at it, that'd be good. And then maybe we can discuss it for next meeting.
That'll just move to old business.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Yep,
Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.